Well. Clemson Tiger fans, college football fans, welcome back to another episode of the All In Show presented by our friends over at FanDuel. Go check them out for all your latest and greatest in sports betting odds. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk recruiting. We have yet another recruit since our last show last Tuesday. And we also have a lot to talk about when it comes to college football and some recent rulings. I think you guys can figure that out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to rank all the opponents' offenses that Clemson will face this upcoming season. We ranked the defenses a little while back. We're going to rank the offenses tonight, so stay tuned. We got a great show for you guys tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, so buckle up. As always, stick around until the end of the show, because at the end of the show, me and Jordan turn it over to you guys, the comment section, the live chat. We get to as many comments and questions as we possibly can. We hang out with you guys for a while at the end of the show, just chopping it up and giving you guys some room to contribute to the show. So thank you so much for being here. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Jordan Bowman. Jordan, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. Living the dream. It's a great week to talk about Clemson football. You already mentioned we got a commit last week. And, we've got some more to talk about in regards to recruiting. I'm just excited to get into it. Obviously, the big news that came out in college football world it still kind of blows me away, man. I mean, even when you were talking about it, it just kind of it hit me again, like how insane that is. But I don't know. It's part of me is grateful that Clemson does things the way they do it, because they'll probably never have to deal with something like that. But
right.
It's still just bewildering, and then just another reminder that the rules don't matter in this sport, and they continue to not matter.
There's one rule, Jordan. There's one rule, and that is there are no rules.
Very true.
The only rule. But we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. We got some recruiting and some rankings to get to before we get into the doom and the gloom of what has become college athletics at this point. But before we get into all that, Jordan, let's give a quick shout out to the comment section. Those people that are in here already hanging out with us, getting into the live chat. John Sarian, sir, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being not only a moderator, but also a monthly supporter of the show. That symbol all the way to the right beside his name shows that he's a monthly member. So thank you so much, John. We appreciate you always rocking with us. KD is in here as well. Thank you for being in here, sir. Air Mike, another one of our great channel members, supports the show on a monthly basis, and is also in here all the time. So thank you so much for being in here, Air Mike. We really do appreciate you. And then, as I already mentioned, KD, thank you so much for being in here as well, sir. That's everybody in the live chat so far. Nope. Isaac Smith checks in. Thank you so much for being in here, sir. We appreciate you. As you guys know, stick around to the end of the show. We will get to as many comments and questions as we possibly can. But, Jordan, we got quite a few things to get into tonight, so let's go ahead and dive into it and get this party started, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a wild ride tonight.
Oh yeah, it's a party for sure. That's a great way to describe it. I might bust a move on camera. No, y'all don't want to see that. Y'all don't want to see that.
Maybe we'll save that. We'll save it to the end. Y'all got to stick around to see that. All right, Jordan. Not so long after our last show ended and we went off air. I think the very next day we got another commit, 3-star Bryant Robinson out of Frisco, Texas, 6'2 and a half, 175-pound cornerback, the number 54 overall cornerback of the class, according to 247. Clemson gets him to shut it down, commit to the Tigers. Tell us a little bit about Bryant Robinson and what Clemson is getting in this guy.
Yeah, Bryant is a kid that they've been on for a really long time. A kid they really like his tape. Obviously, I mean, if they didn't, they wouldn't have recruited him. But a kid that, when you watch him on film, I think the length and the physicality is what jumps out to you. I mean, he plays a lot of press man in that defense that he plays. He's very physical, very strong with his hands. He gets very handsy. But he has a really good frame. He's about 6'3", probably. I mean, depending on where you look, probably about 180. So very much in the wheelhouse of a Mike Reed cornerback. And he always likes to go for guys with length, especially on the boundary. I think that's probably where he projects at the next level. I think it made a lot of sense to go ahead and get him in the boat as a guy that you knew is going to be a really strong scheme fit for Tom Allen in this defense, and really just what Clemson has looked for in their corners over the years. So I think this was a great take. I think he's a guy that's going to be a productive starter down the road. If I had to compare him to maybe a former Clemson player, kind of reminds me a little bit of Trayvon Mullen. They're very, very similar in stature and size. The length is very apparent. They're very physical in press man. I think that's kind of what he projects to me. I don't know if he'll be like a second round pick like Trayvon was, but I think the skill set reminds me a lot of what he brought to the table when he was at Clemson. So if that's anything, I think that tells you that's a great get, because obviously Trayvon was a very, very talented and very productive corner for Clemson during those national championship years. So very excited to have Bryant in the class. I think he's going to be a great fit. Clemson goes into the Lone Star State again to go and get top defensive talent. Obviously reminiscent of, Corian Gibson a couple of cycles ago. Mm-hmm. Not quite as highly rated, but when you look at the offer sheet, it tells you all you need to know that the kid can absolutely play, and I think he's going to be a great addition to this defensive back class. And there's still a couple irons in the fire at defensive back that we'll talk about later that would be great to pair with, along with guys like Jarrell Chandler in the mix, in the fold already.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned, the Mike Reed and getting these guys out of Texas. I think this is the third year in a row that he's gotten one of these guys out of Texas. So definitely proven to be kind of his go-to over there in Texas, grabbing these long, physical defensive backs. But, you talk about a guy in Bryant Robinson. I mean, a great prospect, right? They're really excited to have him in the class. Another big, long, physical defensive back. Definitely a prototype Mike Reed guy. Chooses Clemson over, I think, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Arizona. I think he took an official visit not long ago to Arizona State, but shuts it down for the Tigers. The Tigers have kind of been they quickly became the leader in his recruitment once they offered him. Yeah. Finishes up his junior season with 46 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. And you mentioned it. Watching his film, I was watching it earlier this week. He's long, he's rangy, and really physical at the point of attack. Like, he likes getting his hands on wide receivers, jamming them at the line of scrimmage, not letting them get that clean get off that a lot of wide receivers like to try to get. So, and then also a willing tackler in the run game, yes. Something I saw as well. Like, he's definitely willing to put his body on the line in the run game, setting the edge at times, watching his film, and then also just coming up and run support. from the defensive backfield. So I think it's a guy that's going to be a really good player for Clemson. And then one of Dabo Swinney's favorite things, right? Dual sport athlete, right?
Yep.
Really good basketball player for his high school as well. So that's kind of a big thing that Dabo Swinney likes to look at is these dual sport athlete guys, especially when you're talking at the skill position. So excited to have Bryant Robinson on board. Welcome to Tiger Town, sir. We can't wait to see you with the Paul on your helmet. So look forward to getting him on campus. Make sure you guys are following Clemson live on all your favorite audio streaming platforms: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you consume your podcast from. Make sure you're searching Clemson Live. A lot of you guys don't want to watch a YouTube video, whether you're on a long drive or on a run. You like to consume things in podcast form, especially our longer form content like our live shows and some of the other videos that we post. It's all there on all the audio streaming platforms. So go check it out. Search Clemson Live, rate, review, subscribe over there. That would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to grow that. All right, Jordan, since about mid-May, Clemson recruiting has been on an absolute heater. It's been on fire. The whole thing is just engulfed in flames at this point. But as we all know, it's going to slow down. It's going to come to an end. You can't continue adding recruits at this rate. One, because you don't have room. Two, you're starting to fill up your needs. However, let's talk about some of the needs that Clemson still has. We have 22 commits right now at part of the 2027 class. It's good for 7th in the country according to 247 Sports, which is really good. It's not going to finish up there, right? But it's still a really good class. You got a lot of quality, high-value players. You got a 5-star mixed in, a bunch of 4-stars, and then littered in that is some 3-stars as well. So a good quality class so far. But there are some still positions out there that we need to lock down a few players. I think defensive tackle comes to mind. We got some work to do there. Linebacker, you need to add another one. Defensive back, definitely not done there. Need to add some there as well. So tell the people what is left for this 2027 class now that we have the bulk of it committed. One, we got to keep those guys committed.
Yeah.
But where are the holes still left to address in this 2027 recruiting cycle?
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it. I think the priority, number one, letter A, whatever you want to prioritize it as, is definitely defensive tackle. There's a couple irons in the fire there that will be coming on campus on June 12th for official visits. Clemson has kind of laxed their official visit structure. Obviously you have the big official visit weekend at the end of May, beginning of June, depending on how the calendar works out. But they do reserve, some spots for later in the month for certain players that, for whatever reason, either they did not, they weren't able to attend the official visit weekend for extenuating circumstances, or there are guys they felt like they really prioritized and they felt like they really had a good shot of getting and making accommodations for. And you've got two guys at the defensive tackle position coming in. I'll start with 4-star defensive tackle Seth Tillman out of South Point in Rock Hill, a guy that Clemson has had a really long-standing relationship with. Seth Tillman, he grew up a Clemson fan. There is a lot of familiarity, a lot of ties to the university. A guy that they would really love to add in the class, highly coveted, just coming off an official visit to Michigan. But I think the other schools in contention are, along with Clemson, are Georgia and Michigan. I think those are your primary competition there. So it's going to be very important to kind of, really make a strong, push as we get closer and closer as he's getting close to wrapping up his recruitment as he goes through these last couple official visits. I think, the industry seems to like Georgia right now as the leader in the pack. But I think in years past, like, this has been a recruitment that Clemson has always done really well in, where they're kind of considered to be, they're considered to be in contention, but they're not always considered to be the leader. And you get a guy on an official visit, and those sentimental ties start to win over, and then obviously just the job that this staff does during official visits to kind of get guys to maybe shut it down a little bit sooner than they'd expect, or kind of tug on them a little bit and kind of sway them the other direction. So I'm really keeping a close eye on this recruitment as we head into his official visit this weekend, because I think it's going to be important to really move the needle. Georgia's already hosted him, and then, like I said, he's coming off an official visit to Michigan. So very stiff competition as far as that goes. I mean, this is a big boy recruitment all the way. So we'll see what they can put together on Saturday and this weekend. And then the other iron in the fire that I wanted to discuss is newly reclassified 2027 defensive tackle Segun Alexander out of Georgia. Mm-hmm. He's a kid that we weren't entirely sure how far Clemson was going to push for him when he announced that he was reclassifying, just because he was a guy that they had been in. They had already established a relationship, when he was a part of the 2028 class. But obviously with the reclassification, that kind of sped things up a little bit. But Clemson has maintained a strong relationship with him, and he is still very, very much keen on Clemson. So they were able to put something together and get him to come in for an official. So very exciting to get a crack at him. He has already been to visits to Cal and Texas A&M. And then I believe he has follow-up official visits after this weekend in Clemson to Vanderbilt and Notre Dame. So this is going to be interesting. And it's funny is he doesn't technically have an offer yet, because obviously Clemson before he reclassified, he was an uncommitted sophomore, and Clemson does not offer Clemson does not offer underclassmen. Especially if they haven't been to campus. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I definitely think, when he gets to Clemson, he'll come away with the official offer. Yeah. And, we'll see kind of how it goes there. But, these two defensive tackles that I discussed would be massive additions, literally, to the class, just because of what they bring. And obviously, I think it's going to be all the more important that you kind of replenish the defensive tackle stock that you have, because honestly, this season you're relying a lot on transfers and a couple of guys that have been in the program a while but have not quite bloomed yet. So I think it's going to be really important to replenish the cupboard a little bit with this cycle, and you got to get some guys. So Nick Eason, you're on the clock. We've talked about other positions this cycle. Heading into the official visit weekend, we were talking about like linebacker and or not linebacker, but defensive end, and in positions like that offensive line, like offensive tackle specifically. Now it's defensive tackles. It's Nick Eason's turn to go and get some guys in this class. Yes. Because you're not going to be able to round out this class without having feeling good about where you stand on the interior, especially when you're in your program at Clemson that is very much an inside out kind of defense. It starts with the defensive tackles, the linebackers. Those guys have to be, you have to have good players at those positions, because everything kind of flows through that. So, we'll kind of see how it goes. I think especially with Alexander, his recruitment is kind of taking shape as these visits go on, and we'll kind of get a clearer sense of what the pecking order is. I think once he goes through all of them, because Who knows? Maybe you get him on campus and he decides, hey, I love it here, and you get him to shut it down. But not betting on it
No,
at this point.
no, that definitely is not looking that way.
Yeah. Um, at other positions, a couple of guys I want to mention at defensive back. We've talked a good bit about Jaden Aparicio-Bailey, who Clemson is right there in the final, I guess you could say maybe top 2 or 3 of schools. I think this is a Clemson-Georgia battle all the way. He was just in Georgia for his official visit weekend. There's a lot of industry that feels like maybe Georgia has a slight edge over Clemson.
Yeah,
we'll see. I feel Clemson has a real shot here, and I think like he has not announced his commitment date yet, but I feel like it's coming pretty soon, or he'll at least make an announcement about when he's committing here pretty soon. And we'll see what Clemson can do as we get closer and closer to the finish line. They love him. They love what he brings to the table, and I think he would be the cherry on top. Well, I guess one of the cherries on top to this defensive back room, and it would be nice to beat Georgia for another kid. Another priority kid, kind of like you did with JJ Brown on the offensive line. So, Georgia likes him. I believe at safety. Clemson, sees him as a really kind of multi-positional guy, but they feel like he can play corner because he has a corner skill set. So we'll see kind of whether that plays a factor in his final decision. But that's one to keep an eye on. And then the last guy I want to mention that is a familiar face to all of us that follow Clemson recruiting is none other than 4-star safety Seth Williams, former commit. So obviously a lot of familiarity there. But and we were kind of wondering when he decommitted, whether or not Clemson would, just continue to pursue him or just kind of let him matriculate elsewhere. But they've stayed on him, and he's still been extremely high on Clemson, and they're going to be right there at the finish line. He was also at Georgia this past weekend with Jaden Aparicio-Bailey. So even more of a reason, another Clemson-Georgia recruiting battle. You got to love it. Yeah, man, it's just kind of a yearly thing with the recruiting footprints of both schools. But Seth is, he's still extremely high on Clemson. Says very positive things. So we'll kind of see whether or not he ultimately pulls the trigger and where he ends up deciding. I'd love to have him back in the class. It's not often you see a school. A kid decommit from a school and then they still end up being the pick at the end. But this is about as positive of a development, I think, as it could be in that situation. So we'll see what happens. But those are your guys at defensive back that Clemson is still really pushing hard for, and we'll see if they can land both of them in the class. That would be massive. And like I said, the kind of putting a bow on that defensive back class, and really just a bow on this defensive class, along with the 2 defensive tackle prospects.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a lot of work to do on this recruiting trail. The 2027 class is far from over. One, you got to keep recruiting the guys that you already have committed. You got to continue those relationships. You got to make sure it's staying fresh and new, and their commitment is not wavering because people are going to come after them until the day they sign that letter of intent. They are free game for any other university to poach in any way possible, including offering them money that they can't refuse. So that's a big piece of recruiting now. It's just a reality of it. And then obviously got to shore up the defensive side of the ball, mainly at defensive tackle and defensive back. And then obviously adding one more linebacker would be ideal as well. So still some work to do on the defensive side of the ball. The offense looking pretty good. I think they're pretty much buttoned up at this point, as long as they keep everybody on board that is currently on board.
Yep. And thank you for mentioning linebacker, because 4-star linebacker Sean Fox is the guy I'm also keeping a really close eye on.
Was in Kentucky last weekend, I think.
Yes, and it's looking like it's going to be a Clemson, Kentucky at the finish line here. So hey, Clemson has been butting heads with Kentucky a surprising bit this cycle. Griff Galloway, who was a prospect at defensive end, committed to them last month, which was a little surprising. Obviously, you have it because he is the son of Lonnie Galloway, who is on Clemson's staff. So you've been kind of the Clemson and Kentucky have been meeting on the recruiting trail a little bit more than you would expect. Kentucky is, from what I've been told, they're spending a good bit right now on really both major sports, football and basketball right now. So they're feeling themselves a little bit, but we'll kind of see who wins out on this recruitment of linebacker Sean Fox. So that was the one guy I forgot to mention. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. That is what is left on the bone for this 2027 recruiting class. We've come a long way, man. Like from a month ago, we are in such a different place, recruiting wise, than we were. I mean, there was heading up to this past like snowball of recruits, if you will, was a desert of what is going on, miss after miss after miss. But come mid-May, the floodgates just open for the Tigers, and they make good use of that official visit weekend like they normally do. So a couple more loose ends to tie up, and you got a pretty good 2027 class to work with. So shout out to the Clemson coaching staff for the work they've done so far, but still a couple positions to shore up before we are officially done with this 2027 recruiting cycle.
Oh, Canes are up 2-1 in the Stanley Cup. I just wanted to check up on that. I got a little bit of money sprinkled on them tonight, so had to make sure that we I gave FanDuel my money. So
that's right. Hey, you got to give them a little bit. They help keep the lights on over here. They're good sponsors of the All In Show. So shout out to FanDuel and their great odds. And hey, opening night of AUSL softball as well.
Yes.
So shout out to the Professional Softball League. Durham has a team, Carolina Blaze. So hometown team for us. That's pretty cool. One of 6 franchises, if you will. So that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. Very cool. And man, there's a lot going on in the sports world in general. I'm excited. I'm not a huge like soccer guy, but I always watch the World Cup at least.
Yeah, I mean the World Cup's an exciting time, right? Like I don't understand soccer. I don't watch soccer, but when the World Cup comes around, dabble in it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
especially with our friends over at FanDuel, it makes it exciting, especially for a game that I don't understand. Which oddly enough, sometimes you do better at sports that you don't understand.
Yeah. You don't there's nothing to overthink. You don't come in with any biases.
Yeah, right.
I'm America all the way. So
I
already put down some -1. I think the United States is like -130 to make the I want to say to make the round of 16. I think they got a good team this year. So I'm scared about the defense, but we're
playing on our home turf. We got to make at least a little bit of noise.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to the U.S. soccer team. Hopefully they do well in the World Cup. But while you're doing that, pick you up some World Cup merch. But also head over to VOCFB-shop. Get yourself some Voice of College Football Clemson merch over there. We got hats, T-shirts, sweaters, polos, cups, koozies, all sorts of stuff over there. VOCFB-shop. That's VOCFB-shop. Click here up at the top. All the different teams. The only team you need to concern yourself with is the Clemson Tigers. Go over there, get you something nice. It's good for you. It's good for us. Everybody wins. We appreciate your guys' support. VOCFB-shop. That's VOCFB-shop. All right, Jordan. The time has come. A little while back, you mentioned that we ranked all the defenses on Clemson's upcoming 2026 schedule. Mm-hmm. We have yet to rank the offenses, so we will remedy that tonight. We will rank each and every offense 1 to 12, of which Clemson will face in this upcoming 2026 season. So this is going to be fun. Why don't you guys in the chat follow along with us? You tell us who you think is the toughest offense Clemson will play in 2026, and we'll see if we agree at the end. You guys can make your own list. So we'll do our best to kind of see where we land on this. A lot of this is guessing. I mean, rosters turn over so much, especially when you're dealing with teams like, Miami that, turn over a roster a ton. They bring in a ton of transfers. LSU, they're basically an entire different team. Like, we played them last year, but we didn't play the LSU that we're going to play last year. So it's basically a whole new team with a whole new coaching staff. So there are some variances within this list of candidates that we have, Jordan. So let's go ahead and kick it off. How you want to do it? You want to go 1-1, or how do you want to go through the list?
Yeah, I mean, we can do it like we did it last time, though, like 1-1, and just kind of compare notes, or I don't have any notes. I
don't have any. I'm winging it. I'm off the cuff.
Yeah,
looking at these names, I wrote them down on my notepad right before the show, and it's literally just a list of the opponents in order.
Yeah.
So this is totally off the cuff. This is kind of just my first glance thought on these teams and what their offenses potentially could be based on our schedule. So if you disagree, hit it up in the comment section. Let us know why. All right, Jordan, I'll give you first go. I will let you lead it off. Who do you have as the number one? Or you want to go last? No, we'll go top down.
Well, we'll go best to worst. Yeah.
Yeah, best to worst. Who is, in your opinion, the most difficult offense that the Clemson Tigers will face? There's no T on the end of face in 2026.
No face. I think. I mean, honestly, there's probably I shouldn't say unanimous pick, but I mean the one that I feel the most confident saying right now, the offense I feel the most confident in when I look at the schedule, I think it's Miami.
Yeah.
I think when you consider the returning production and the additions that they made combined, I think this is the most potent offense on the schedule. The addition of Darian Mensah was arguably the biggest quarterback move in all of the offseason. And not only did they get Darian Mensah to throw to a very strong group of wide receivers, they brought in his top receiver from Duke in Cooper Parkgate, who absolutely destroyed Clemson in that game last year. And obviously you talk about what Miami has been on the offensive line with Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal, running the show. They're extremely physical on the line, extremely talented on the line, and they always are going to have a nice stable of backs. They're just a really complete offense. Not a ton of holes when you look at them. I think this is going to be the toughest offense that Clemson faces, just because they can do a multitude of things well. And obviously the quarterback is going to be, Darian Mensah is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You put all those things together, I think Miami is my no-brainer.
Yeah. Look, I think it's no secret who is at the top of the list. The top of my list is no doubt the Miami Hurricanes. I think they have the highest ceiling of any of the offenses that Clemson will play in 2026, and it's not particularly close. You mentioned the transfer portal moves that they made with Darian Mensah and his star favorite target from Duke, just basically gutted Duke's offense all at one time by taking their two most productive players on offense, adding them to an already potent Miami offense that lost some pieces. But, I mean, the way that they recruit, the way that they reload, Mario Cristobal has never had any trouble accumulating talent.
No.
His problem has always been getting the most out of that talent on the football field. But accumulating the talent has never been a problem for Mario. And it's definitely not a problem in Miami, where they have a ton of money and they are dumping it into their football roster. So definitely by far the biggest test for this Clemson defense. Luckily, it's the fifth opponent of the season. Clemson's defense has got a little time to get their bearings, if you will, with some of the new additions that we've brought on in the Tom Allen defense, the 2.0 version of the Tom Allen defense for Clemson. My number two, Jordan, it's a wild card. It's an unknown, but for me, it's LSU.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin is a guy that consistently produces high-powered, explosive offenses. Now, the big wild card, the big question mark is, will all the pieces gel? It's a tall task, and they have a lot of pressure on them in year one, because those LSU fans and those alums and those donors, they expect results immediately. This is not we're building up to something. This is we hit the ground running. We expect to compete for a national title next year. That's how the LSU fans feel right now. And I think their offense will be much improved from a season ago. And I think it is probably the second best offense that Clemson will face. And unfortunately, it's the first offense that they will face. So welcome to the show, Clemson defense. You're going to get tested early.
Oh yeah, very much so. It's going to be a test, and I like you said. I think when you look at this LSU offense, I think the biggest thing is just. I'm year one of Lane Kiffin. He's never going to have a bad offense. It's never. His system is kind of built for success. How quickly does this group gel together is my question. Obviously, starting, you're bringing in Sam Leavitt from Arizona State, to be the quarterback, who had a pretty disappointing year, all things considered, compared to kind of what he was expected to be preseason. But still has a lot of arm talent. I think he's more than capable, and he's a good fit for a Lane Kiffin offense. And I think they brought in a ton of help out of the transfer portal. Their receivers, offensive line. They really went and spent a good deal on getting quality football players in the building there. So it really is just kind of about how much they can put together. In week one. Is my question, but I think they're the second most talented, and they're the most but they're also kind of an unknown. So like if you told me they end up finishing worse than second on Clemson's schedule, I wouldn't be surprised. And then if you told me they ended up being the best offense on Clemson's schedule, I also wouldn't be surprised. So it's kind of a toss up when with this LSU offense, but I think they're probably going to be pretty good. It's just week one. What do they look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Who you got at 3?
All right, my number 3. This one's kind of tough because I think everybody kind of knew, at least most people could probably assume, what the top 2 were going to be. But number 3 is a little bit tricky.
When I looked at the list, 1 and 2 was jumping out at me. Now the rest of them, hey, we're gonna see where I go.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am too. And that's why it's really kind of difficult to it was kind of difficult to decide, but I don't know. There's something about what I saw from Jaron Sagapole last year. Shout out to that pronunciation.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
I am not going to say that name yet, but shout out to you for nailing that one.
Yeah. So I had to try it one time, and now I'm going to call him JKS for the rest of the
JKS
for the rest of the show. I think Cal is sneaky, man. I mean, I think they showed a lot of promise, and and I think offensively they did go and get him some help in the portal. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. What we saw last year with limited talent around him at times, it was very, very exciting. This Tosh Lapoy is a guy that has been in the industry a long time, really well known for his recruiting. That's where he spent a lot of his time as an assistant, was being one of the top recruiters in the country. And now, I think his last stop was at Oregon, and now he's settling in and as a head coach, and he's very much a defensive minded guy, but I think he's done a good job with bringing in some quality players for JKS to go and throw the ball to, because I think the arm talent is tremendous there, and he showed off a lot of his ability last year. So I don't know. I think this Cal offense is actually going to be pretty good. I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but I think the quarterback talent is kind of too good to ignore here, and I think they did enough in the portal where I'm like I could see this being a pretty potent offense.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. No doubt about it. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do here.
It's a tough one. I mean, because it's a tough one because the top 2 were just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
Was so easy,
and then now it's kind of splitting hairs.
I think Duke could be pretty good.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech. You lost your quarterback, so you lost both your quarterbacks.
Yeah,
your starter and your backup. So that's a big hit there. Florida State is completely dead. Virginia Tech, I got a lot of hope for them, but not really known for high-powered offense there with your new coach. Penn State, the one thing they consistently struggled with was an offense that could score points and score them often. You mentioned Cal. You made a lot of good points for Cal. Man, oh man, who am I going to go? I'm struggling here. Let's see. I'm going to agree with you on Cal at 3.
Okay.
I feel like you made a good argument. I'm going to go at the number 4 spot. I'm going to go with Duke. I think I trust Manny Diaz. I trust that coaching staff. They had a pretty productive year. I mean, they lost their quarterback and their star wide receiver, but you're splitting hairs. Georgia Tech lost their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback. And Virginia Tech is another team I'm considering in that kind of spot, but they're a wild card, and James Franklin has never really produced a high-powered offense in his time at Penn State. That was it's probably one of the reasons that he got ultimately fired from Penn State is the lack of offense that happened there on several occasions. So that's where I land, but we're splitting hairs at this point, man. These teams are kind of jumbled past the first couple.
Yeah, I agree. This one's going to be, this is tough. I think my number 4, it's one I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but not too much of a limb because I think the potential is there. I'm going to go with the South Carolina Gamecocks. I think, while their struggles last year were pretty noticeable offensively, I do think they did a good job of retention here, and I think with the additions they made, I think they could sneakily be a pretty solid offense. And obviously Lenore Sellers, his highs are really, really high. So I honestly think this group could actually be pretty solid. I still have some questions. Offensive line is always going to be a big thing for me. I think that's been the biggest weakness under Shane Beamer, at least on the offensive side of the ball for South Carolina. But they made some additions in the portal. I think they kind of learned from the kind of experiment that they kind of went with last year. I think if Lenore Sellers gets back to what he was in 2024, running the football, and not being afraid to use his legs and not trying to force himself to be a straight pocket passer, like who is their offensive guy? I don't know why I'm blanking on their offensive coordinator's name from last season, but it doesn't matter. NFL guy now I'm blanking. They did not. I don't think they really utilized his skill set last year in the way that they did last in 2024. I mean, Lenoris was a lot more timid and a lot more less willing to run, and they tried to make him a pocket passer, and he was very inaccurate, and his receivers didn't help him a ton, and the offensive line kind of sucked. So yeah. I mean, there was a lot of reasons why that offense wasn't very good. I think they'll be better this year, and I think there's enough talent on that roster that they can be a challenge for most of the teams they play on that schedule. So y'all can boo me in the comments. Y'all can boo me for being somewhat positive on the Gamecocks this year, but I don't know. I think if things go right for them, they could be pretty good. From a health standpoint, because I do think they did a better job.
Lenore Sellers alone, man, obviously not a banner year for him last year, right?
No.
But, I mean, I think everybody saw what he is capable of the year prior. Last year, I think a lot of that had to do with offensive play calling and style and not really taking advantage of the things that he does well. You got a new play caller in town. A new offense. So, you got that guy on. You got that guy on your team, that quarterback, that leader of your offense. You got a chance to be really good. So I get it. Although I don't like saying that. Lenore Sellers he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, I don't like saying it either.
I just wish he played for a different team, and then I could actually enjoy watching him have success.
Yeah. All right. Is it me? Oh, hold on. Do I pick the?
Yeah. Where you at? You did 4. Yeah, go 5.
Yeah. All right. So my fifth. Okay. My fifth is I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. I don't feel too strongly about it. I still have some questions there. You mentioned them earlier. Obviously, James Franklin is always always kind of to raise your eyebrow because he never really put together a really great offense while he was there, except for maybe early in his tenure. It was always the defenses that were more of the standout for his teams. And obviously last season was a massive disappointment considering all of the talent that they had. Sounds familiar. So,
can in fact relate.
Can in fact relate.
Hashtag what should have been the national championship.
Yeah.
It played in one called the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah. Good times, man.
Not to bring up, bad memories or anything.
Yeah.
Which we couldn't even win the Pinstripe Bowl. So
yeah, no, we lost the preseason national
championship.
I
digress. Back to the task at hand.
Yeah, so I think Virginia Tech is. I think they're honestly poised to have a solid year one. I think the investments there. They certainly. I think they've kind of recommitted. Kind of to football, being good at football. I think that's not anything to like scoff at. They brought in Ethan Runkenmeyer from Penn State, who James Franklin obviously recruited to kind of help out.
Yeah,
but surprisingly, like I don't see nearly as much as far as transfers as maybe you would expect. I mean, they still brought in a good bit, but it doesn't feel like this team is going to be as transfer heavy as maybe you would expect. There is some talent on this Virginia Tech team. I honestly thought they were sneakily one of the better defensive lines in the ACC last year. Just kind of went on unnoticed because Brent Pryce sucks as a head coach. But I think he gets to kind of go back into his role as defensive coordinator and let James Franklin be the CEO,
which is. I mean, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I know.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that you were the head coach of the team, you get fired, they bring in your replacement, and you're like, yeah, I'll be your DC. Yeah. I mean, good on him. Like, that's probably really good for Virginia Tech, right? But, man, that's something you don't expect to see.
No, it's not. So very jarring to say the least. But I do think there's a group of it's a good crop of talent on the offensive side of the ball to work with. I think they'll be decent. I don't know how high I truly am on them. I just feel like this is. The rest of the offenses on the schedule are just you can honestly mix them up and spit them out in any order, and we wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a crapshoot from here. So, all right, who's your what have you done? You've done 5 now.
Yeah, that was my 5th. So it's got to be.
So where are you at 1 through 5? Miami, LSU.
Yeah, Miami, LSU, Cal. South Carolina, and then Virginia Tech.
Yep. All right. For my number 5, I have none other than the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Okay.
For all the reasons that we already talked about and stated, Lenore Sellers being their new offensive coordinator, kind of a new injection of energy there, kind of a do or die type of situation for Shane Beamer. I think a lot of the South Carolina fans are growing tired of some of his antics, and they want to see results on the field. So I think he's definitely feeling the pressure heading into the 2026 season. Obviously that probably went into some of the changes that he made this offseason. I still think you got a really good guy as your signal caller, which makes all the difference in the world for your quarterback if you can get a guy that knows how to take advantage of his skill set. For those reasons, I got South Carolina at number 5. Number 6, I got Virginia Tech. I just think Virginia Tech and James Franklin is a really good fit. I just got a feeling that that's going to work out well. I'm not exactly excited about it because it's probably not good for the Tigers for Virginia Tech. I mean, that's kind of one of those programs that, they're itching to become relevant again. They haven't been since, Frank Beamer and Beamer ball and, all that kind of stuff. But I think that's a fan base that's kind of itching to get back to relevancy in college football. And I think they got their guy. I don't think it's going to be an immediate, instant turnaround, but I do think Virginia Tech gets going in the right direction this season and starts to build to something with James Franklin. My only concern is his kind of history with offense has not been the greatest, so we'll see how it goes, but I got them at my number 6 spot. And then my number 7. Again.
Wait, hold on a second. I got to do my 6.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I was like, hold on now.
My bad. Sorry, I got excited.
I'm like,
I finished my list while you were talking, so I
just rattle them off. I mean, sure, you can.
My bad.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna pump the brakes.
I'll wait. For my 6th, I'm going to go with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I've got questions a little bit offensively there. Honestly, I think they did a decent job with some of their additions, but I don't know. Quarterback is a question. They bring in the younger Mendoza kid. I have no idea.
That's a huge question mark for me. I don't even know what to think of him. Other than he's Fernando Mendoza's brother.
Yeah.
Fernando Mendoza was a really good quarterback, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a good quarterback.
I mean,
because he was the backup at Indiana doesn't mean he was a good quarterback.
Right. I've got questions there. I have no idea if that kid can play at all. Right. I mean, we haven't seen him at all. So they have room to move up on my list and all that, but I don't know how I feel about that. Now Georgia Tech, absolutely, they're killing it on the recruiting trail right now. I still think the overall trajectory of the program is positive, but
yeah,
offensively, I don't know what to make of this group of guys. I'm a little skeptical.
I think they're okay offensively. And I got them at my 7 spot. I think they're okay offensively. It's just that it's that quarterback position, man. I just don't know what to think of the younger Mendoza, right? I don't know. I have no reference point to even begin to evaluate that. Which is why I had them down at 7. I think they could be a decent team. I think Brent Key's probably the guy at Georgia Tech. I think he's done a lot of good there. They've made a lot of improvements. They've started winning on the recruiting trail far more consistently than they used to. He's definitely an upgrade from the last guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Georgia Tech fans even want me to say that dude's name.
Yeah.
But I think Brent Key has done a really good job there. But I do have a massive question mark at quarterback there this upcoming season. And that's kind of why I'm a little kind of down, I guess, on Georgia Tech or have them a little bit lower on the list, I guess. But they do have potential to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you lose your first and second quarterback. That's tough regardless. And we'll see how the transfer works out. Hey, maybe he's Mendoza 2.0. Who knows? If he is, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
But when you lose the guy that was like the heart and soul of your offense, that's a tough replacement.
Yeah, very true. What number are we on?
You are on 7.
Okay, so I got to pick my 7.
You got to pick your 7th.
Okay. All right. Number 7. Ugh, man, at this point, this is where we're really starting to get in the weeds here.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically just like covering your eyes and throwing darts at the dartboard at this point.
Yeah, I don't really love any of the teams left on this schedule.
No.
I want to say Duke, but it's like they lost a lot.
But they do have a stable coaching situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something.
And they weren't Syracuse or UNC from last year.
Yeah, that's true. Yuck. I'll go with them. But I don't feel great about I don't feel great about Duke in general this year. I mean, I if you remember our defensive rankings, I had their defense like I think like last or second to last, at least in the ACC.
Yeah.
So
I think I had them higher than you too. So I'm definitely higher on Duke than you are.
Yeah. So I'm kind of out on Duke.
I don't know, man. I think Manny's a good coach. I think
I don't even think it's really about Manny's like coaching ability. It's just like I don't know how Duke as a program can survive. Something like that happening to them. When it comes to Darian Mensah and the nature in which it happened, the timing in which it happened, they weren't able to, or they had no time to go and get somebody really.
That was kind of the messed up part of the whole situation.
Yeah.
Like you basically lost your entire offense, and it was too late for you to do anything about it. So.
Yeah, I just that was gross, and I don't know if Duke really made the things necessary to kind of.
I'm a believer. I think Manny's going to stable the ship. I could be completely wrong. I could.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this offense right now, and I'm just like.
Don't keep looking at it. You're gonna make me change my mind.
I'm looking at this group.
I feel like I made a bad choice, but whatever. The choice is made. Again, this was on the fly. I didn't.
They brought in a lot of older guys, which is cool, but like
stabilize. You don't got to be great. You just got to stabilize, right? You lost too much to be great.
Yeah. They just look. I've just given them. I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt just because they've been quality.
They have been really good
the last few years.
Manny's been there, so
yeah. I mean, Elko got him going, got him started, and Manny's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Elko did. He did great.
Yeah.
But, they can't pay Texas A&M money. So,
yeah,
obviously, who can? Or Texas Tech money. Texas Tech got that different money. I don't know what they got. All right, so you got Duke at your 7.
Yes.
Now we got 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay.
Do we have to rank all 12? I mean, or do we just want to rank the 10 power?
We can just rank the 10
because I think that's what we did last time.
We could just rank the 10 because I mean, Charleston Southern and Georgia Southern, like. No one cares.
No disrespect to those programs.
I mean, I'll rank Georgia Southern ahead of Charleston Southern if anybody's wondering.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But this is like the last 3 that we got here are like
poop
I mean,
butt.
Yeah, this is the bottom of the like. This
And
is the
ass. Like I don't.
This is um this is the water that comes out of like the pump trucks that pump the porta johns out.
Yeah,
That's what these three are.
It's just dookie water.
I'm gonna go at my number 8, FSU.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna go FSU.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
and this is not a I believe in FSU because I don't.
No.
I think Mark Norvell is a fired coach walking at this point.
Yeah.
But UNC and Syracuse were just that bad last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to get any better. So, I mean, as bad as it's gotten in Florida State, I'm going to pick them over those two.
Yeah,
and that's like that tells you how down bad Syracuse and UNC are. Because Florida State's a dead program right now. Like they literally have a coach that they know they're going to fire. They're just waiting for it to become cheap enough to fire him. Like everyone knows it. It's a known thing. So, but I got FSU at 8.
Okay. All right. My number 8. I'm gonna rock with FSU too. I mean, I don't feel particularly strong about that. I just don't really love what they have going on over there. I think the running back room is kind of good. Yeah. I think that's a positive. I think Deuce Robinson is a dude. So, there's not going to be like a shortage of I mean, it's not like they don't have any sort of playmakers. They do. But you're relying on Ashton Daniels, who I don't think is very good.
I'm not a believer, but
I mean, we saw him a couple of years ago when Stanford came to Death Valley when Ashton Daniels was a quarterback. I genuinely one of the worst quarterbacks. I think he was the worst quarterback Clemson faced that year. Now, I can't say I watched too much of him at Auburn. I mean, maybe he improved on some things, but he was god awful in that game a couple of years ago, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head since. I just don't think he's very good. But you brought him in. Gus Malzahn retires, but apparently they're still going to run his system. So I guess it's still a good, quote unquote, good fit if they're able to run the offense well.
Yes.
So they'll make some things work. He's a good athlete. That's his saving grace. He can run. So I don't know. That does probably mean less.
No, it's bad. Gus Malzahn was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
Yeah, he's not.
I'd rather not get paid.
Yeah, I would have rather. I mean, if Thomas Castellanos would have had more eligibility left, I would have said I'd rather have him back than Ashton Daniels. I mean, at least Castellanos could throw the ball somewhat deep, and he wasn't he took shots down the field, and they were actually fairly successful by the numbers last year. Possibly Deuce Robinson tax because he's like 6'6", but he's going to be he's a tough guy to guard, and Mekhi Danzy as well. I forgot to mention him. He's one of the fastest players in the league. And like I said, I like the running back room. They brought in Wisner from Texas. Usman Kroma, who I think he has a pretty high potential at running back. I think it's not like I said, they're not devoid of talent. Like it wouldn't surprise me if like they were kind of okay, but when it's a Gus Malzahn offense, there's kind of a cap on what you can be, and with Ashton Daniels' limitations as a quarterback, it's hard for me to see them doing much better than or being like super duper improved.
Yeah.
But right now I just can't see it with them. They gotta be 8.
All right. Give me your 9.
Oh, that's right. And for my number 9, I'm going to go North Carolina Tar Heels. Maybe they're slightly better under under Bill Belichick, and maybe some again they're another team, another year where they're going to be extremely transfer heavy and dependent. Although they brought in some talent from the high school ranks that maybe they have some younger guys that step in and contribute, but I don't know. I just what we saw last year was not very encouraging, and I don't think they're going to be marginally better
No.
with what they brought in.
Look, I agree with you. I got UNC at 9. We said it on the show when Bill Belichick got hired. I had been a believer in this was never going to work. And that's not a shot at Bill Belichick. He is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NFL coaches of all time, right? Yep. NFL fans can debate that. I never thought it was going to work when he came to UNC. I still don't think it's going to work. And I don't think year 2 is going to be any better than year 1 was. I think it's an abject failure. I think it's a disaster. And UNC will regret the day that they hired Bill Belichick as their coach. That's just where I'm at. The only reason they're at 9 is because Syracuse is worse. I got Syracuse at 10. They're worse. They were awful a year ago. And I don't think they're going to be much better, if at all better, this year. So those are the 2 bottoms of the ACC. I think they're clearly at the bottom of the ACC. So, yeah, I got UNC at 9, Syracuse at 10. Both very bad football teams.
Yeah. Now I will
very bad this year as well.
Yeah, I will say to I guess Syracuse saving grace maybe is they bring back Steve Angeli, but like I don't.
I mean, sure,
coming off an injury, I
don't know, man.
And I mean, he was playing. Obviously, he was doing Clemson bad, but I mean, a lot of quarterbacks did Clemson defense bad.
That wasn't saying much a year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The rest of that
we went 7-6 if people forgot. So
right.
I mean,
and we were there. We were Syracuse's only ACC win.
Was not necessarily an accomplishment last year.
Yeah.
It didn't really mean anything.
I mean, Clemson was Syracuse's only ACC win, so if that tells you anything. So they didn't win another game after they beat Clemson. So just you gotta love that little tidbit. A good reminder of how awful that game was. But
I mean, I guess we owed it to them, for getting us into the ACC championship the year before.
Yeah, maybe that's it. We'll go with that. But
glass half full. Look through it through orange-colored glasses. We were just trying to pay them back. It was a thank you.
But yeah, I don't particularly care for the rest of this roster. I didn't even realize Cam Pringle transferred over there. That's going to be fun. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. Like I said, what does Steve Angeli look back coming back from injury? Is he going to be anywhere close to what he was at the beginning of the season last year? Yeah. I mean, if he does play like he was playing at the beginning of last season, then Syracuse will move up.
I mean, they got a chance to improve if he was playing like he was playing before he got hurt. They're definitely going to be better on offense just based off of that alone. But I can't bank on that after watching what we watched last year out of Syracuse.
Yes.
I mean, that team rolled over and died right after the Clemson game. Just gave up. And UNC they were a clown show all year. So there you have it. 1 through 10.
Yep. I did not knock them out.
Totally off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Only memory stats to back it up.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to rank things, though. Like, let's just, let's talk ourselves in or talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah, it's not as fun when we have like
it's not as fun when you got a script going in. Just look at the teams and be like, what do I think of them? When I see that name, what do I think?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So,
and obviously we bring in some knowledge, some knowledge about
the
team prior,
we know some stuff about the teams.
Yeah.
But I don't know what every single team, how many touchdowns they threw for and blah blah blah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
We don't need to do all
that. I look
at
the names, I think about what I know from them, and then I go from there. It makes it a lot more fluid and fun to do. So let us know in the comments below where we're wrong, where you disagree, and what you would rank the 10 Power 5 teams that Clemson plays, where you would rank those offenses 1 to 10. Let us know in the comments below. We appreciate the engagement. Make sure you're checking out the Amazon link. I know a lot of people do a ton of shopping on Amazon like myself. I buy way too much off of Amazon. Most recently, a bunch of stuff for my daughter's room for her birthday to redo that. But make sure you're using the Amazon link. You check out as normal. You select things as normal. In every description of every single video that we post on this channel, there's an Amazon link. Copy and paste it while you're checking out on Amazon. It doesn't charge you anything. It doesn't cost you any more. It doesn't change your shopping experience. It simply just gives a kickback to the voice of college football and ultimately me and Jordan and everything we do here on the All In Show. So thank you guys so much for that. Copy and paste the Amazon link.
Happy shopping.
Happy shopping. All right, guys. We have come to the last topic of the night. Quick shout out to the comment section. If you have not already, hit that like button for us. It really helps us out on these live videos. Helps us grow the channel. Helps us get more people in here. YouTube loves the like button like it's their favorite thing in the world. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to.
Family-friendly show.
Yeah, family-friendly. Sorry, my bad. All right. So hit the like button, please. It's free, and it's an easy way to support the show. All right, Jordan. This past week, a judge in Texas sorry, give me 1 second. My bad. Well, I'm going to have to restart that for the cutout of the video.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's run it back.
Yeah, it's something I had to respond to. Run it back. All right, Jordan. This past week, a judge in Texas just granted Texas Tech transfer quarterback Brendan Sorsby an immediate temporary injunction stating that he could play the 2026 college football season after admitting that he betted over 40 times on his own team that he was currently playing for when he played for Indiana as a backup quarterback. Not only that, he wagered $90,000 during his college football career between Indiana and Cincinnati on various bets. Some college football, some other bets, but a large portion college football bets. I think the number somewhere over 9,000 bets came out, stated that he had an addiction, had a mental problem. The NCAA, obviously, this is the one cardinal sin, if you will, of all sports, not just college football, NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever sport you're a part of. I don't know if people know the name Pete Rose. There's a reason he's not in the Hall of Fame, and he has the most hits all time of any player ever. He also won a lot as a manager. But there's a reason he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's because of sports gambling. So Brendan Sorsby fully admits he did all of this. I did it all. It was me. I didn't get hacked. I'm not making an excuse. It was me. NCAA, rightfully so, suspends him, stating that essentially you are done. Your college football career is finished. You will never play college football again.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the rules. Of course, as everything goes in college football nowadays, if I get a ruling from the NCAA and I don't like it and I'm a university or a player, I'm going to sue the NCAA. So he sues the NCAA and states that if he is not able to play college football for the 2026 season for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, he will suffer irreparable damage and his future NFL earnings will be put in jeopardy if he is not able to play college football this season. That judge then grants him the temporary injunction stating that he can play the 2026 season. Now, it's just temporary. The case will still have to be heard, but we all know how slow the courts move. And this is in Lubbock County, Texas, home of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So how fast do you think this is going to trickle through the court system?
Yeah.
The 2026 season will probably be well over by the time this case is ever even heard, if it ever is heard in court. So essentially what this judge did was tell him, yeah, you're going to play the 2026 season, don't matter what the NCAA thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a couple of my thoughts, Jordan, before I let you sound off on it. We have talked about on this channel of a lot of the missteps that the NCAA has made over the years, about how they had the opportunity years ago to allow student athletes to have jobs, to have YouTube channels, to have little things, true NIL, autograph signings, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had the opportunity. They failed to do so. So they have created a lot of this environment. However, I don't think you can blame the NCAA anymore. At this point, it's a bunch of spoiled, selfish athletes and member institutions, institutions of quote-unquote higher learning, that don't like a rule or don't like that a rule is being applied to them, and they just sue. And then they go find a friendly local judge within their county, probably a grad, if not a grad, somebody that's friendly to the university, and they rule in their favor. So essentially, what we have in college football is officially, and we've said it before, the NCAA is dead. The NCAA is dead. No. The NCAA officially died with this ruling. And I'm not even joking at this point.
No.
If you can't enforce betting on your gambling, on your own sport, not only on your own sport, we took it a degree further. You gambled on your own team that you were a member of. If you can't enforce that rule, there are no rules in college football anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's rules. There's no enforceable rules of college football anymore. This ruling, I don't think you can overstate the gravity of what this ruling means. It means that as much as we have called college football the Wild Wild West, it truly is the Wild Wild West now. There are no enforceable rules. The NCAA, not only do they have little, but they have no power. And this just proves it. Because this is the one thing that I think everyone agrees on. We can debate whether athletes should have a fifth year. We could debate on whether JUCO years should count. We can have those debates. I don't think that fundamentally calls into question the integrity of college football. But you know what does call into question the integrity of college football? Being able to gamble on your own freaking team and having zero consequences. Oh, I'm going to sit out for the first and second game. The first game's a game against the School of the Blind, and the second game's against Oregon State, which is a shell of itself, used to be a part of a Power 5 conference, no longer is, not even close to the team they used to be. Oh no, you got to miss 2 gimme wins of the season. Wow, how generous of you, Texas Tech, to offer that up. I guess the rest of college football should be thankful that you're so gracious. I don't know where we go right now, Jordan. Like, at this point, college football is a complete joke. There's nothing serious about college football anymore. If you can't enforce gambling on your own sport, on your own team, I mean, why do we even abide by the revenue share? Why can't the school pay the players more money? Who's going to stop them? What if a former Clemson player gets cut by the NFL? Can we bring them back? Who's going to stop them?
Mine as well.
I mean, if we just pay a judge in Pickens County enough money, he could just put an injunction in. We just need him to play long enough for a season, right? I mean, where does it end? I mean, I'm legitimately asking, but I'll let you take it away.
I mean, I think you summed it up well. I mean, it's a travesty for the sport. I don't understand. It's one of the most bewildering decisions I've ever read. It's one of the most like nonsensical readings of anything I've ever seen. It makes no sense. It makes like zero sense how, as a like if you're that sitting judge, like how like and you're considering the gravity of the decision that you're about to send down. I don't know how you in good conscience could. Well, I do, considering where it was located and obviously the incentives aspect of making that decision. But I won't get into. I won't be conspiracy theorist Jordan tonight. I'm just.
Oh, you mean a billion trillionaire oil tycoon?
Yeah. I don't have to dive into that. But just like understanding the gravity of what a decision and what a reading of like law that is. Would mean for the sport of for college athletics in general, and just the professional integrity of the quote unquote professional integrity of what college football is now, like there was to begin with. But there was still a semblance of normalcy when it came to that one rule. It's like, okay,
there was
you can pay guys whatever you want. You can do whatever you can. Hell, you can even tamper with them while they're while they're sitting in class. But one thing you cannot do is directly, tinker, meddle with, interfere with the integrity of the of football games and how
the
they
competitive integrity of the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm at a loss at what this means for the like at least what this means for the rest of the sport. What we're going to see, like how does this get and like how do you how do you reclose Pandora's box at this point, because there's no telling what precedent that sends.
I mean, the precedent you just set was you can gamble on your team. You can gamble on college football, and the most you're going to get is a 2-game suspension. I mean, that's the precedent you just set. And in no sport, anywhere, are you able to gamble. Guess what happens if you gamble in the National Football League?
Get out of here.
Done.
You're done.
You're finished. The same with all the other sports leagues. You remember the NBA with the referee?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? That almost crushed the NBA. It took a long time to recover from that because it called into question the integrity, the competitive integrity of the game. Because the guy calling the guy calling fouls and the guy controlling the flow of the game was betting on games, knowing he could alter it. Like, this is serious. Like, this is no joke. At this point, you can't trust anything in college football anymore. You know, and you've heard a couple people react to it and talk about, well, what stops college football players from doing prop bets on themselves and then making those things happen? I don't know. I don't know what stops them, because the NCAA can't enforce anything, because the second the NCAA tries to enforce anything, they get sued and they lose. Every time they lose. And as much as I don't like the NCAA and as many mistakes, and the bulk of this is their fault, we got to stop blaming the NCAA. We got to start looking at the institutions and the players, because they're the ones that keep levying these lawsuits and not letting the NCAA enforce the rules that are in place, the rules that everyone agreed to. Like, please save me the nonsense of, no, like, as a Division I college football player, that you cannot gamble.
They have classes on this. It's like, they have
it's like in the end brief when you get there. Like, hey, guess what you don't do ever? Gamble on anything, but especially college football. So at this point, the NCAA is dead. Like, RIP the NCAA. That's why I titled the video that way. RIP. Like, it's official. Like, the NCAA has been on life support for a long time. Machines have been keeping the NCAA alive, or at least the illusion of the NCAA. It's officially gone. Like, there was a power outage and the NCAA died. They're done. It's over. There is no coming back from this, because if you can't enforce this rule, you certainly cannot enforce any other rule in college football. There's no rule they'll be able to enforce, because this might be the only rule that every college football fan, I think, as a whole, agrees on. You can't bet on the sport. Like, everyone agrees on this, except for maybe a Texas Tech crazy out there who only cares about their team having a better chance of winning this season.
Yep.
But I can promise you, if this was a Clemson player, excuse me, I would feel the same way. And I would hope that the Clemson staff did not allow them to play. Because, this is crazy, man. Like, this is out of control. And without congressional interference, college football will never get to a point again where we can enforce any rules. They are going to have to give college athletics antitrust exemptions like the NFL has, because outside of that, there's going to be no real way to rein any of this stuff back in.
Yep.
We have literally opened Pandora's box. We broke the lid. We tore the lid off.
Yep.
It's just spilling out everywhere. And there's no limits to the nonsense in which college athletics has turned into. And it's a shame to watch. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not going to watch college football this season. I'm absolutely going to watch college football this season. But I understand why people don't. I understand why people are walking away from the sport. I understand why people are getting close to being like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this, dude. This is ridiculous. I get it. At some point, the adults in the room gotta start making decisions for the betterment of the sport. Like, everybody can't get what they want, man.
Fact of life.
Everybody can't get what they want. Like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. You come up with the frickin' college football committee or whatever they are that's supposed to vet the NIL. That don't work.
Nope.
You have the House settlement that everybody agrees to those rules. Nobody's following those rules. You got the bill that's going through the Senate right now. Is that going to be any real change? Is that going to affect anything? Who the frick knows at this point, man? It's very frustrating to watch, though, because it's a sport that I'm obviously really passionate about. That's the reason that we do this show. I love the sport of college football. I think it's the greatest sport ever, the most entertaining sport ever. If you've ever been to a college football game in person, you understand the absolute juice that is in this sport. But it's not endless, man. Like, you continue to go down this path, you're going to ruin it for real. And that's unfortunate to think about, that could be a legitimate reality in the future, because clearly there is no one running college football, and it's completely off the rails, and I hate it. This sucks. Why?
Yeah.
Because some kid is sad because he has to suffer the consequences of his actions, and the judge's response to it, right? The judge wrote in his ruling, he will suffer irreparable damage if he cannot play for Texas Tech in 2026. No duh. That's what we call consequences for your choices.
Yep.
It's supposed to affect you negatively when you mess up and do wrong. It's like I told you before the show started, Jordan. If you went to work tomorrow and punched your boss in the face, would you or would you not get fired?
Yeah, I would assume I would get fired, and probably a little bit more than that.
And if you got fired tomorrow, would that or would that not cause irreparable financial damage to you?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But would it also be deserved and a part of your consequences for punching your boss in the face?
Yeah.
It's called consequences, people.
Well, there's some circumstances I could kind of envision.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
My boss doesn't watch my show, so I'm in the
That's
clear.
good. He might feel a certain type of way. If Jordan's boss ever sees this, he did not say anything to me. I just came up with that in my head. I'm sure you're a great boss. I'm sure you're fantastic.
I appreciate
top tier.
I appreciate
you should probably give him a raise because he's a really good guy. So,
wow, I'll take that as well. Yeah, he said it, not me.
Yeah,
but yeah, if you're offering, well, I'm not gonna say no.
Give him a raise, or something might happen. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna get taken off. YouTube's gonna strike us for threats.
We'll be threatening people.
Oh man,
it's crazy, man. Crazy world we live in, but this is the world of college football. The only rule is there are no rules. At least no enforceable rules. There may be some arbitrary rules written down somewhere, but you don't have to follow them because nothing's going to happen to you if you don't.
Yep.
Clearly. And I don't have anything against the dude. I don't even know him. But he should never play college football again.
Yep.
I know that.
Simple as that.
It's very simple. You gamble on college football, lifetime ban. That's it. It's over. No questions asked. I'm sorry. I know you're sorry. I know you're sorry. Because you just lost millions of dollars and you're not going to play.
Yep.
Yeah, we know you're sorry. That doesn't absolve you of the consequences of what you did. Being sorry is good. Admitting what you did wrong was good. Going to quote unquote rehab. Sure, that's good. I'm glad you're working on yourself. But it does not absolve you of the consequences of your actions. It's like when you commit a crime. You could be sorry.
Yeah.
You still going to jail. You're just going to be sorry in jail.
Yeah. Like,
what are we talking about? Like, I don't get it, man. I'm so sick of it, dude. I'm so sick of this. Like, this is absurd.
It defies all reason, all logic. But
like every time we see one of these things, I'm like, this is the tipping point. But like, this has got to be the tipping point. Like,
yeah, we say that, and then something else comes along. I'm pretty
like,
soon.
can it get crazier than this? Being
Yeah.
able to bet on your own team that you are a current player of and getting away with it. Is there anything crazier than that?
Hey, let's start. Hey, just let's bring back PEDs too. Let's just
You know what I'm saying? Okay, what did Clemson get accused of in the 2018 season? What was that?
The Ostarine stuff.
Ostarine?
Yeah, bring back the Ostarine.
What did Uncle Lou call it? The tater juice? Let's bring
Tater
the tater
juice.
juice back.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back since there are no rules.
Yeah.
Whatever Dexter Lawrence was on, let's bring that back.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm just kidding, Dex. You weren't on anything.
Yeah, we know it was a
fake
shampoo or something.
Something. Face wash or a deodorant stick or
supplement. I don't know.
Whatever.
We're losing it.
We're off the rails, dude. We are off the rails. All right, let's go ahead and leave that segment there, and turn it over to the people.
Let's
the people that make this show possible, the people that support this show and hang out with us, even when we're off the rails on our ridiculous tangents.
Let's do it. See. Katie says FBI has to be watching that kid. Would not surprise to see him arrested the day of his first game. Yeah, I don't know what I don't even know if I trust that to be the case. I just there's no sort of governance at the moment, no sort of enforcement involved.
I tell you who does care: the sports books.
Yeah,
they care.
I'm not sure they're loving this.
Yeah, they care.
Yeah,
they do not want this.
Yeah, just bizarre, very bizarre.
One, they don't like to lose money. Two, it's all bad. It's all bad.
It's very bad. Els King believes the judge got paid off. I'm not going to comment on that, but it's something to think about.
I don't know nothing about that, but I do know Texas Tech quite possibly has the richest donor ever.
Yeah. So
you can look them up.
What
do they call their collective? The
oh shoot,
I don't even remember.
I can look it up. The Matador Club.
The Matador Club. That's it. Yeah. Big billionaire oil tycoon.
Yeah.
That's why their softball team's got a bunch of players from other places. Their football team. Everybody. They're spending all sorts of money.
That they are. I'm going backwards.
How are you feeling if you're a Texas Tech fan right now?
I mean,
how do you think Texas Tech fans are feeling?
They're coping. I mean, they're defending it. They're doing kind of what they have to do.
There's no way you can defend this, dude. Like
I've seen it.
What kind of yarn ball you got to roll yourself into to justify this one?
You'd be surprised at what the human brain is able to, just the mental gymnastics the human brain is able to perform.
I mean, at least come out and be like, look, I know it's wrong,
but I'm
care. Happy because it's going to help me win.
Yeah. That'd be a more respectful position. Yeah.
Because we all know it's wrong. Like, there's no.
I mean, at least that'd be the honest position to take. Like,
Right.
But people got to pretend like there's some rationalization that makes sense for why. I don't know. Let's see.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Carl Boykin says South Carolina will be lucky to go 6-6. Well, we'll see. I mean, I could see a wide range of outcomes for that team
Maybe.
this year.
I mean, it could come off the rails for them.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It certainly could. And not gonna see me cry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sad at all. David, one of our great channel members here, thank you for being a monthly supporter, says, I know Ole Miss is happy this happened. No one's talking about them now. Hey, facts. Ole Miss is the winners in this. They are the winners for sure. Old Pete over there, he's like, whew. Appreciate that, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Take one for the team.
Take the heat off us.
Yeah. I'm tired of answering questions about tampering.
Yeah.
I don't have to threaten everybody.
CJ asked this with the defense. Where would you rank the Clemson offense in those offense rankings? And that's a good one. Maybe third, fourth.
I'd say 3, 4, 3 or 4, somewhere in there.
And I mean, but it's kind of, we have no. I mean, and honestly, if I'm being objective, or if I'm being, just of being consistent with when you compare it to some of my reasoning for my placement of other schools on the list, maybe you could say Clemson should probably be lower, maybe 5 or something like that.
Yeah, but
just when you consider
I think when you look at the skill position at Clemson,
that's my thing.
What causes it to rise. Like,
yeah,
quarterback is a question mark. I think we all fully understand that we don't quite know what Chris Vrzina is going to be.
Yeah.
As a starting quarterback, week in, week out, down in and down out, right? We saw him one game against SMU, who happened to be a really bad passing defense, and he played well, but he should have played well, right? So there's a big question mark there. But when you look at the skill positions, I think you got reason for being a little optimistic there. Now, the other big question mark is offensive line. How big of a jump can they make this year? That's the other wild card of this offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them as high as 3. But again, to your point, I could see them as low as 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like if things go wrong, if things go off the rails, right? If quarterback, if that answer is not, if quarterback is not improved, if the offensive line doesn't get better, it could go in a bad way, because a lot of what Chad Morris is going to want to do is predicated off of the run. And if you can't run the football, it's going to be a long season.
Very much so.
It could go off the rails with quickness.
Isaac says, yeah, this 100% killed my hopes of anything happening with the Ole Miss situation.
Oh, yeah, ain't nothing happening. Yeah. I thought about that while I was going off on the whole tangent about it. I thought about giving a disclaimer to all the Clemson fans out there that were following the Ole Miss saga. Just go ahead and let it go.
Yep.
Ain't nothing going to happen at all.
CJ says, could you rank the coaching stats on the schedule as well? Yeah, that would be a great thing to do for another segment.
Yeah, that could be a cool thing. That could be a cool thing we could do.
Who asked, do you think Clemson is willing to take both Williams and Bailey? Yes, absolutely. They would take both of them if they both want to commit. They would take them both.
Yeah.
Katie Jones talking about seeing Tristan Bissetta bash baseballs almost made me cry. Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. Another transfer that ends up in Omaha the year after they leave. Yeah, first Billy Amick and now Tristan Bissetta, and you've had other transfers that have that have left the program that have had really strong seasons elsewhere.
Now you got what's his name that left? Savoy.
Yep.
Tough loss.
Mm-hmm.
Tough loss.
Very, very much so.
Wherever he goes, he's going to have success next year.
Yep.
And that sucks.
CJ, BYOG or Sell, there are less than 4 top 50 offenses on the schedule. Less than 4 top 50 offenses. Oh, that's a tough one.
LSU will be top 50. Miami will be top 50.
Yeah. He said less than 4?
Less than 4.
I mean, I have to account for one of the teams I'm not high on popping and being better than I expected, but I don't know. This just doesn't scream a very offensive heavy league right now.
I mean, he might be right. I'm struggling to see 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be 4, but are there 5?
Yeah. I don't. You know what? I'll sell it just because I have 2 that I feel pretty confident will be in there, and then I think there's just from a numbers, maybe from a sheer odds or number standpoint, I think there might be at least 1 or 2 that pop, are better than we expect. I don't know if they'll be like, top 50, top 15, top 20 offenses, but they only have to be in the top 50. It's not a super high bar to clear. So we'll see.
Yeah, but USC, Virginia Tech. Cal maybe.
Yeah, I'll sell that, but it would not surprise me.
But definitely Miami and LSU, no doubt about that. I don't even have to think about that. They'll be top 50. Yeah.
Else King, if Vizina plays poorly, this could be 7-5 or worse. Yeah, I mean this.
Yeah, for sure.
If they're not good,
it could be a repeat of last season or worse.
Mm-hmm.
It really could. I think there's a couple key factors to whether Clemson gets turned around and starts heading in the right direction. Right. Number one is the most important position on the field, and that's quarterback. A close number 2 is that offensive line, because everything that Chad Morris wants to do is predicated on running the football. And then that defense, specifically the pass defense, has to improve in a massive way.
Mm-hmm.
Year 2 of good Lord, what's his name?
Who?
The defensive coordinator. Why is
Tom Allen?
Tom Allen. Thank you. Good Lord. My brain stopped working for a minute. Year 2 of Tom Allen
it's getting late, y'all.
Yeah, has to. I mean, that's got to be a massive improvement. And you went out in the transfer portal and got your guys. So it's got to show up on the field now.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do a few more and get on out of here. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Katie says, how many games to struggle would it take for a quarterback change this year? I honestly don't think it's going to take that long. If Chris Vezina isn't it,
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a shorter leash than most people might think.
Yeah. I think it could absolutely be a Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence situation. Not to say that Tate Reynolds is Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying that at all. Like, not even close to saying that.
Yeah.
But it could be that type of situation where he's actually pushing him and the leash is short, because that's the future. And if it's at all close and the starter starts struggling, you give the nod to the young guy.
Yep. All right.
But I think Chris Vezina knows that. Yeah. He knows what's on the line. I mean, ideally he does well, but we'll see.
Isaac says, we'll end off on a BYOG or sell. Vezina will trot out as QB1 versus Miami.
Miami, where are they at?
This week, that's your fifth game. That's
so you've already. No, I like what you did there. What you did there. Week 5.
Coming off the West Coast road trip. Oh.
What? Hold on. I need to look at the schedule real quick.
You know what? I'll sell. I'm going to sell. You know what? I'm probably going to go back. I kind of want to hold. I said sell, but I kind of want to hold on that. That's kind of cheating, because there's not a buy, sell, or hold. It's just BYOG or sell. But I don't know. It's just, I don't think there's much separation between the two, where I think that Chris Vezina is going to get much benefit of the doubt. That's just me. And if he does struggle, I think he does get pulled.
That's coming off of that Friday night game, on the West Coast.
Especially if that game doesn't go well.
But there's a good possibility that it don't. And it kicks off at 10:30 p.m. That's going to be a late night for us, brother. It's going to be a late night.
Yeah, it is. All right. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm already starting to feel it. You guys have stuck with us. Still 23 people in the live chat. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Of course, me and TPC, we do this show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So y'all make sure to continue to share these videos, subscribe, share them with your Clemson fans, your Clemson friends, family. Honestly, they don't even have to be Clemson related. We welcome all college football fans. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Yeah, TPC, you got any parting shots for the people before we get on out of here?
No, man. Thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate you each and every time you guys come in here and listen to me and Jordan ramble about college football and Clemson football and everything in between. Thank you for getting into the live chat, chopping it up with us. Really do appreciate each and every one of you. Last request before you leave, if you have not already, please hit that like button. It's free, and it really helps us out. Go support our friends over at FanDuel. They do a great job of supporting the show and sponsoring the show. And it truly does make it a lot of fun to go and make some games interesting by wagering a little bit of money, whatever you can afford to lose, right? I'm a small bet guy, $5 here, $5 there. Just because I'm not trying to lose any more money. I'm too cheap for that. But if you can afford it, hey, go try to win something. What's that one guy I heard about? He did like a parlay between, it was like months ago, between the Spurs winning the Western Conference Finals and like some other stuff going on. And he hit big. He wagered like $2,500 and won like something crazy, like $60,000 or something crazy like that. So, maybe you'll be that guy. Maybe you'll be that lucky.
We could only be so lucky.
Maybe. But you guys have a great night. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all our channel members. David Lowry for being in here. Thank you. Let's see who else. John Sarian. Let's see who else was in here tonight. I know we had a couple other ones. Trying to find it.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I feel like Air Mike was in here tonight too.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, Air Mike was in here. David, John Sarian. I think that was all the channel members that I saw in here tonight. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show on a monthly basis. It means a ton.
Arthur's in here too. So he just popped in at the end of the
Arthur's in here as well. Thank you guys for being channel members. Anytime that you spend any of your hard-earned money right here to support the show is truly humbling. So thank you guys so much for that. Appreciate you. Hit that like button on your way out. We will see you next Tuesday for another edition of the All In Show right here, 8 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, go Tigers.
Later, y'all.